Boom. What's up, you guys? It's Royce Jacob, and welcome back to Waves Capital. President Trump has just signed a crypto executive order that is obviously very good news for Bitcoin and Bitcoin-related assets, which is also good news for us. So, in this video, we're going to go over the executive order itself, discuss some of the other pro-crypto things going on in the Trump administration, and then we're going to dive into the charts, talk about Bitcoin, take a look at Riot Platforms, Marathon Digital, or MAR Holdings as it's called now, and Coinbase on the charts, talk to you guys about a few different price scenarios I see panning out for all three of these. But given everything that we're going to discuss here in this article, it's pretty clear that I am bullish, so just keep in mind, I am biased towards the upside. I just think it's so obvious, especially with some of the other articles that I'm going to read in some members' videos right after this. Thinking Bitcoin can go to 700K plus. I don't know if I necessarily agree with that, and I'm not sure exactly what his time horizon is there. But, there's just so many fundamentally and technically bullish things going on with Bitcoin and crypto assets, as we'll see as we dive into the charts, that it's difficult not to be bullish. As always, Bitcoin is pretty notorious for staging bull traps and bear traps, breaking angles with fake outs. So it's important to keep in mind that anything could happen. But in my opinion, and I mean, this isn't like a special opinion or a hot take by any means, but the stars are aligning for BTC, and I will argue Bitcoin miners as well, even though it's been kind of a tough week. So let's just read over this. Let's take a look at the charts once again, and let's call it a day. Before we get to reading, you guys, it's been an amazing week and an amazing year at Waves Capital. You can see here my Robinhood account, which is one of two of my options trading brokerage accounts, up 100%, up 99% this week, nearly 2x this week alone. And you can see here, year to date, we are up 207%. So we have over 3x the Waves portfolio, the Waves options portfolio. And I guess just for a caveat, I said this here, you can just read it and pause it and read it if you want. But I do have a Robinhood account and a SoFi Invest account, and the options are split pretty randomly there. So this isn't exactly reflective of how the Waves portfolio performed, for full transparency, and as a note to existing members as well. But overall, we're crushing it. We're doing super well. And if you guys want to trade with us, if you guys want to know exactly which calls I have on Riot Platforms, Mara, holding Coinbase in my common share portfolio, holding all of these names in my common share portfolio, then it's the first link in the description of the video. Join the team, join the winning team. Just know what we're doing on a day-to-day basis. You get my trade alert newsletters along with a full breakdown of my portfolio. $15 a month, $40 for every 3 months. Completely up to you guys. Try it free. The reason I do free trials is because I'm confident in the product I provide. And again, the money, we have the receipts to back it. Okay. And if you don't believe these little screenshots I took of my desktop Robinhood accounts, you can ask any member of Waves Capital. We've been crushing it. 2024 was amazing. 2025 really couldn't be off to much of a better start. So if you want to join the team, once again, it's the first link in the description of this video. We look forward to having you if so, but if not, no worries at all. Let's get to reading about this EO. So Mackenzie Sigalos, credit where credit's due. This is her article on CNBC. Trump signs executive order promoting crypto, paving the way for digital asset stockpile. Key points. President Trump signed an EO on Thursday that includes working toward developing a national digital asset stockpile. Trump, who was a critic of crypto in his first administration, campaigned on a very different message in 2024. President Donald Trump signed an EO on Thursday to promote the advancement of cryptocurrencies in the U.S. and work towards potentially developing a national digital asset stockpile. Venture capitalist David Sachs, who Trump tapped as his crypto and artificial intelligence czar, joined Trump in the Oval Office for the signing of the order. Quote, the digital asset industry plays a crucial role in innovation and economic development in the United States, as well as our nation's international leadership, the order states. Trump, who was a pro-crypto critic in his first administration, changed his tune on the campaign trail and attracted hefty contributions from the industry after a tumultuous 4 years under then-President Joe Biden. Crypto investors, companies, and executives accounted for almost half of corporate donations in 2024 election cycle, with some contributions tens of millions of dollars to help Trump win a second term in office. Most of the order focuses on establishing technology and rules around crypto and its development in the United States, one of the critical pieces in the creation of a working group to consider a national digital asset stockpile. And again, in the members video after this, that is Fink's argument too. And for those of you who aren't familiar with Larry Fink, CEO of BlackRock, largest asset manager in the world, that's probably more than 7 trillion as of now, but last time I checked, it's like 70 in assets under management, which is almost unfathomable, but it just shows the power of Monsieur Fink. Okay, so most of the order focuses on establishing technology rules. I can't remember if I just read this, sorry. Around development in the U.S., one of the critical pieces in the creation of a working group. I did just read that. Historically, the U.S. Marshal Service has auctioned off seized Bitcoin along with other cryptocurrencies such as ETH and Litecoin. Trump promised on the campaign trail that if he returned to the White House, he would ensure the federal government never sells off its Bitcoin holdings, though Thursday's order does not mention Bitcoin, which is very interesting. If I am elected, it will be the policy of my administration, the United States of America, to keep 100% of all the Bitcoin the U.S. government currently holds or acquires into the future, he said in July in a keynote at the Bitcoin conference in Nashville, Tennessee. The order goes on to outline other key priorities for the digital asset industry, including protecting individuals and private sector companies that use blockchain networks from persecution. The document spells out certain protections for developers and miners, noting that they should be able to freely develop and deploy software as well as participate in mining and validating. Good news for our miners. A nod to technicians securing the Bitcoin network. And if you guys remember, we made a video about this back in summer of 2024, talking about Trump meeting with the Bitcoin miners, going to riot, going tomorrow. And, that's why I really feel like although miners have been lagging and really ruffling some feathers, kind of breaking hearts, as I've been saying in the newsletters, I think they will be catching up in a very, very big way. And once that spark is lit underneath them, it's going to get very, very exciting if you're holding call options like we are. And, I'm looking forward to that happening. Money where my mouth is. Keep in mind, you guys, I and many of you know this, have many, many call options focusing on miners, AI, all this fun stuff in the portfolio right now. Okay, so the president has also pledged to defend the rights of those who choose to self-custody their digital assets. That means they do not rely on a centralized entity such as Coinbase to hold their tokens and instead use personal crypto wallets, which are sometimes outside the reach of the IRS. The order emphasizes promoting the sovereignty of the US dollar by supporting the growth of legitimate dollar-backed stable coins globally. Okay, we have a little more to read here, you guys. This is a long article, but this is all important, and then we'll dive here into the charts, talk about some price action. Okay, French accent a lot. Since his victory in November, Trump is focused on appointing government leaders who support the cryptocurrency sector. Paul Atkins has been nominated to chair the Securities and Exchange Commission, the SEC. Atkins, a former SEC commissioner, is known for advocating market-friendly policies and opposing heavy-handed regulation. If confirmed, he will succeed Gary Gensler, whose aggressive enforcement of crypto regulations made him a divisive figure within the industry. Earlier this week, the SEC announced the formation of a new crypto task force to be led by Commissioner Hester Pierce, dubbed Crypto Mom for her outspoken support of digital currencies. Pierce has long championed a regulatory framework that fosters innovation rather than hindering it. Scott Bessent, a pro-crypto hedge fund manager, is Trump's pick to lead the Treasury Department. Bessent attended the Crypto Ball on Friday in Washington, an event that brought together lawmakers, cabinet appointees, and industry leaders, and underscored the administration's plan to make a U.S. a global leader in digital asset innovation. Sachs told the crowd at the packed Mellon Auditorium on Friday night that the war on crypto is over. This is just the beginning of America reclaiming its position as the world's innovation leader. Said the czar of crypto and AI, Mr. Sachs, David Sachs. If you guys watch the All In podcast, I'm sure you're a fan of David Sachs like I am. So, good stuff. There are good people. There are pro-business people who I think are good personally, who are really calling the shots now. That's how, in my opinion, it always should have been. People who have proven their competency in a specific sector to actually be making the calls regarding that sector on the greatest stage, which is the U.S. government. And, it's, as I said in the beginning, the stars are aligning, and they're like, if we do get a pullback in Bitcoin, it will be a pullback because the scale that we are reaching, the terminal velocity at which we are currently entering in Bitcoin, specifically Bitcoin, the crypto sector overall, you can feel it, and it's tough to imagine a scenario in which Bitcoin really crashes like it has in the past because the legitimacy of the asset is just so damn strong at this point. Okay, so Bitcoin, from a technical perspective, we're looking pretty good. We officially tested, broke to a new all-time high, although it didn't last long, on January 19th, a few days back at $109,400. Since then, we've been going sideways, trailing sideways. We printed this nice little symmetrical triangle pattern. Symmetrical triangles, for those of you who are unfamiliar, typically resolve themselves in the direction of the overall trend. In this case, Bitcoin's trend is clearly to the upside. So we got this breakout. You can see here, you can kind of count this as the new triangle that Bitcoin is in, which I will. So I think the likeliest scenario is that Bitcoin probably does more of what it's doing now. We're entering a weekend, so Bitcoin probably travels sideways for a bit longer. If we do reach the apex of the symmetrical triangle pattern, that would result in a resolution on like January 27th to late 26th, early 27th. As I just stated, symmetrical triangles tend to resolve in the direction of the overall trend. And in this case, that's up. So let's hope for the best there. Bitcoin looking up. I've said before, I'll say it again. My current price target for Bitcoin on this next wave, at least my first profit target for where I'll personally plan to take profits on names like Riot and Mara, call options that is going to be 100% or 2x from the base of this rally in Bitcoin. Okay, so this rally in my eyes really saw that first parabolic movement around 66K. A 2x from there would result in about $134,000. So I expect this wave to take us up to 130K plus. Again, Larry Fink is thinking 700K might be in the cards. So we'll see what happens there. But personally, profit target for Bitcoin related call options is going to be a 132 to 34,000 BTC. Okay, so Riot platforms, I like to see that as we closed out the week, Riot started outperforming the likes of Mara, Coinbase. MicroStrategy absolutely tanked into the weekend, which, honestly, I think that's kind of proved to be good news, because that capital, like if you're invested in MicroStrategy, obviously there's a lot of a lot of retail investors, a lot of retail Joes YOLOing into MicroStrategy just because it's such a hyped up name. So that's a big reason I haven't engaged in MicroStrategy calls over the course of this sector, and honestly considered shorting it at one point. But what I was just alluding to, there's so much market cap in MicroStrategy that as it sells off and as investors realize that MicroStrategy is an overblown crypto play, that capital is going to flow into the significantly lower market cap, so 4.7 billion in Riot's case, like Bitcoin miners, stocks that are well below as far as like average analyst rating. And just in my personal opinion, I think Riot is severely undervalued, and really the optics and just the vibe around Riot and Bitcoin miners overall has been mostly negative for the past year. So once that optimism is reinvigorated, and I think that will happen as capital flows out of other names and I've been shorting Apple. That's the Apple shorts that we've had in the portfolio are really, we can thank a lot of the gains we've seen over the past few weeks to those Apple puts that have been absolutely printing for us. And that capital, again, capital wants to be invested, especially in this macroeconomic environment and this new Trump presidency, which is pro just growth and innovation. So capital wants to be invested, capital that flows out of historically overvalued mega caps, like overextended stocks, will flow into those promising sectors of the market that have been underappreciated over the past 6, 12, 18 months. Okay. In my opinion, that's Riot. And I think even if other areas of the market lag, Bitcoin miners could really appreciate in value, especially obviously in the case that Bitcoin continues to rally higher. Okay, so Riot, as far as price action is concerned, you can see here Riot did successfully break out of this symmetrical triangle pattern, extending it similar to we just did Bitcoin. This is going to go out a lot longer, but just looking at Riot and the volume that's picking up, you can see here 47 million shares traded today on an average of 35. Volume picking up is like typically a really good sign of a big move on the horizon. With Riot, I obviously think it's up. And again, money is where my mouth is. I have plenty of call options on Riot at the moment. Relatively speaking, at least, plenty is in the eye of the beholder. But in my mind, I have plenty of calls on Riot. Okay, so from here, I think a very, very easy target is going to be $17. But this range right here, I do expect to pose some resistance around from $17.40 to about $19. But as we looked, I want to explain this. I'm going to go to daily candles so it doesn't look so congested. Okay, so looking here, we can see that what's happening right now, at least in my view, looks a lot like what happened back here from like April of 23 to June, July of 2023. Okay, so we saw that big first wave of Riot, followed by a lot of sideways price action, a lot of range trading, a lot of uncertainty. This lasted from one high to the next high, which was 120% rally from the base of that second wave. That was 120% rally within the span of 87 days. If we take 87 days, and keep in mind, you guys, I know most of you know this, but I just need to clarify. Just because it's happened before does by no means means that it'll happen again. But, history tends to rhyme. Doesn't necessarily repeat itself, but it does rhyme. And, if we see some rhyme or reason to this, then that would result in 120% rally, which would take us to about $22 on February 6th. Okay, so again, there is, I'm not saying with any sense of real confidence that, oh yeah, this is going to happen. Just keep in mind, you guys, the setup we're seeing right now looks a lot like what it did when this happened, when we saw this two-wave pattern occur. And if Riot does get a second wave, if Bitcoin does rally to $130 plus, then I don't see it out of the realm of possibility at all for Riot to repeat what it did back in July of 2023, because the fundamentals are arguably stronger than they were then, especially from a long-term perspective. So it wouldn't surprise me to see this. $22 is a possible within the next month. Absolutely, because we've seen it before and it can happen again. Okay, we're going to rapid fire Mara and Coinbase because this video is getting a little long. Mara, again, it'll be interesting to see if Mara can retest this line of broken resistance. Broken support is new resistance. You guys know this is like one of my favorite technical setups in the game. One of the members' trader tips videos, we discussed about this. Broken X equals new X. Broken support equals new resistance. If this happens, again, kind of lining up similar to Riot. The appreciation wouldn't be as much if Bitcoin does rally to $130 plus within the next couple of weeks. It's really likely that Mara probably comes up and breaks back into this prior ascending channel, rallies up similar to Riot, like 100% from here or something. But Mara looking good. Bitcoin miners in general, if Bitcoin's ripping higher, miners are probably going to follow to some extent. Most bullish on Riot, as I'm sure you can imagine. Coinbase, again, MicroStrategy. If you like it, great. I don't like MicroStrategy right now, nor have I really ever. Okay, so Coinbase looking pretty good. Coinbase looking pretty good. I think Coinbase also announces earnings on February 19th. So it's pretty clear, just looking around, that crypto is being traded a lot. We are getting to some very speculative, very hype levels, but with the U.S. government getting involved, which makes this way more like it's a stamp of approval. It's a presidential seal of approval on this hype cycle, on this rally. And that's what gives me reason to believe that we're just in the early innings of this still. Like, things have been exciting, but I think things will continue to get exciting, if not even more exciting, in the weeks and months ahead. Okay. Coinbase, again, Coinbase makes money regardless of what happens to price. Coinbase makes money off of trading volume. They make fees off of actual trades themselves and purchases and sales. So good news for Coinbase. I mean, just volume in general is good news for Coinbase. I think Coinbase can probably test the top line of resistance on this short term. Actually, this is a long-term ascending channel. I'm sorry. If we do make our way up to the line of resistance on this long-term ascending channel, let's just go conservative resistance to keep it good. Again, another conservative and absolute resistance. Also have that members video on that. And if you're not a member of the YouTube channel, if you want, to check out these articles that I'm about to read after this, if you want the trader tips videos going over technical analysis and technical patterns, just hit the join button under this video. It's greatly appreciated, but if not, no worries at all. Okay, so yeah, Coinbase conservative resistance would take us up to about 355 by mid-February. If we test this top line of resistance, this line of absolute resistance, as I call it, by mid-February, say they have a good earnings report, March 1st, we could definitely see like a 360, 370 Coinbase. And it could go much higher than that if, again, the crypto sector continues to heat up. So really exciting times, you guys. I'm really just excited to see more wins on our horizon, and I'm excited to see what happens to Bitcoin and Bitcoin miners in the weeks ahead. I hope you appreciated this video. I hope you gained some value from it. And let me know in the comments downstairs what you're thinking about anything Bitcoin and crypto related. I appreciate you watching. Until next time, always remember, take action, make waves. Peace.